Kinsey did well. Smith! Yes! Kinsey and Smith combining from a quickly taken throw with only seconds of the first half remaining. David Phillips, and he's bettered the one just before half-time by getting a second 3 minutes into the second half. Absolute thunderous finish by the Welshman. And on the first occasion that Dave Besant was beaten, he was rather waving the ball goodbye as it went over his head, but I doubt if he even saw that one. Wilson. Nice touch again from Jim Melrose. Gordon Smith, two to his right. And Baker couldn't get it in. Yes, he did. Mistake really by Winterburn, who seemed to have it and then lost it.
Here's Fishenden. Slips Breckin. And Evans! A shattering moment for Berry. And on the bench, Jim Eiley's thoughts.
Jimmy couldn't have got a worse start, really.
No, nothing. Terrible. Good cross, good header, but he was on his own. Not marked. The man wasn't marked.
Fishenden slipping past Breckin, and Evans, unattended, guided in the header. A goal of classic simplicity, really, from Wimbledon's point of view. Their policy of playing two wide players. And here's Leslie. Hodges, who plays it in. Morris. And Fishenden's volley won't count. He was offside. Is a relief for the home side. Wimbledon had so many players moving in unmarked for the cross from Hodges. Gardner. Hunter again coming in strongly. This time the linesman waves John Leslie on. And it's Evans who tries to meet the cross, and Downs 2-0. Problem upon problem for Berry and for Jim Eiley.
Jim, your thoughts after that second sickening goal?
Oh, that's a shocker. A shocker, really. We don't need that at this stage of the game. No way. No way. But our defenders, they're not marking. They're not marking.
7 minutes before half-time, and the linesman had allowed Leslie to run on, keeping the flag down. Evans caused problems at the far post. The header dropped for Downs, who thumped it into the roof of the net. Johnson, is he away here? And was that handball by Thomas and Madden? But the penalty is given for hands. And a break goes Berry's way at last. In the dying seconds of the first half, Thomas came across and used an arm. And although Madden then put the ball wide, the referee pointed to the spot. So Tommy Gore, what responsibility with him now? He's scored 5 times from the spot already this season. And fails at the crucial moment. Besant threw his body into the line of the shot, which wasn't particularly well directed, it must be said. Downs. Peters with the cross. It's allowed to reach Leslie, and now Hodges. And Evans! Although Berry protests that presumably a hand was used as Evans stretched forward, the referee initially pointed for the goal. Evans has got the congratulations. And the referee now has gone across to check with the linesman, but did Stuart Evans handle there? The referee says yes, he did, but only after Berry had drawn his attention to it. Hodges. And again. And it needed a terrific save by Brown from Fishenden to stop Berry going 3 down. There was a real skirmish here. Fishenden found the ball coming quickly to him. And he angled the shot well. Bramall. Evans couldn't collect. And Parker hard to stay onside by a gesture from the linesman. He was clearly in an offside position. And scores! Out of nothing. It was a real lazy looping shot with 11 minutes left. The linesman indicated that Stuart Parker had been played onside, then he collected the ball and bounced it past Besson. Here's Jacob. He couldn't stay on his feet as well as Thomas did. Fishenden away from Halliday. Has he done enough? He hasn't. Halliday slid in, but Fishenden looped the ball up and over David Brown. It was a lucky finish, really, but it epitomises the way the afternoon has gone for Berry. Ball skidding on the damp turf into Fishenden's stride. Halliday slid in, and it might have even looped up off him. Brown was totally committed.
Well, they all count 3-1.
Come forward and had that little extra zip up front. This early attacking move ended up with a David Williams shot being deflected for a corner. Now we see Williams as a defensive player in his own box, and it was from this move that Rovers scored the deciding goal. White gathered in midfield. We'll see him again in a moment, and he passes to Halliday, who moves the ball out to the left, eventually ending up with Mark O'Connor. O'Connor made a great bit of space and sent in the most perfect cross to Steve White. White's header beat Trowbridge's former keeper John Smoulders, and Rovers were ahead, White scoring his first league goal of the season. Well, Bournemouth can consider themselves unlucky with this 30-yard thunderbolt from Robbie Savage. He beat Cashley all ends up, and Bournemouth were unlucky that the return header went just wide. Well, into the second half, and O'Connor proved that he could hit the woodwork too in the second period, Smoulders getting the rebound in the back of the net before it was eventually cleared by his defence. Well, Rovers did find the net again. Randall set up Halliday on the right. White gets into the act, leaving Parkin to plant the ball into the goal, but a foul on Smoulders resulted in a free kick. So Rovers win by that single goal and then fell foul of the officials, because when the teams trooped off, they discovered the water mains had burst and no one could take a shower.
At Huddersfield, they join London rivals Charlton, who also won today. Wimbledon have reached the top flight after just 9 years in the league. John Thirlwell reports.
Huddersfield in the stripes set out to deny Wimbledon the glory, and early on there was the promise of a goal when Terry Curran's neat 1-2 with Shearer almost paid off. Wimbledon's high kicks rivaled those of the Tiller girls, but a return attack minutes later was to prove a dismal failure. Alan Cork crosses well, but Fairweather heads the ball straight to a defender. A sudden thunderstorm suggested even the Almighty was growing bored, but the first half ended with no score and play was becoming scrappy with a foul by Brown on Fashanu. Another foul on the same man in the second half resulted in Huddersfield's Terry Curran being sent off, the first of 2 Town players to go. And it was when Fashanu was brought down again that Wimbledon were given their chance in the 61st minute.
Manager Dave Bassett came to Ellen Road. There were no empty seats. Over 46,000 saw the Southern League Wombles take on mighty Leeds. Peter Lorimer was in the Leeds team that day. In fact, he missed a penalty, and he must have said to himself, here we go again, when Wimbledon took the lead with a dream of a volley from Steve Kettridge. Leeds had barely had a look in, but a ghastly mistake changed all that. There seemed no danger from Harvey's clearance until Martin missed his kick. Tommy Wright thanked him for the invitation to go on and shoot the equaliser. It was a mistake that turned the tide, and when Gary Hampson's long ball sprang the offside trap, Andy Ritchie took it on the chest, Wimbledon took it on the chin. Martin and his fellow defenders were struggling to contain Leeds now. The pace of Wright was too much for Morris. The little Scot got away from his pursuer and Ritchie arrived to roll in the cross. Gratefully. But the best goal of the lot had everything. First, a touch of tenacity. Then an air of arrogance. And a classic curling finale. Scott Sellers the scorer. Best of the season, said some Leeds diehards. By now, Wimbledon were wishing they were back on the Common, if not in the Southern League. And the defence was nowhere to be seen when Sellers celebrated that goal by setting up the next. Andy Ritchie's hat-trick just 4 minutes later. As a contest, it was all over, but there was still time for Kevin Gage first to win the ball and then deliver the perfect cross. Alan Cork popped up with the clearest header he'll have all season. 5-2 then, and 10 years on, a result that wiped away a few bad memories for Peter Lorimer.
Yeah, obviously the last time they were here was way back in the early 70s when they were at non-league side, and they played very well and they got a draw, and it wasn't a particularly happy day for me because I missed the penalty, but today it's been a lot better. We've played well, we've won very well, we've scored some good goals, and that puts us right in amongst the league leaders again.
If I can just take you back to 1975, everyone remembers that penalty. Can you just sort of talk us through it and the way Dickie Guy made the save?
Yeah, well, it was a very muddy day, and we weren't playing well at all, and they were frustrating us, and big crowd, and we were really getting frustrated, and we got a penalty not long to go in the game, and I thought, well, good, this is it. At least we can get this game over with. And sure enough, when it's a day like we were having, I went up and mishit it completely, and the lad made a good save, Dickie Guy, and they took us down to Crystal Palace, and we scraped through in the end.
And Dick Guy, the man who's performed heroics this afternoon, who's saved everything that's been flung at him, has the most thankless task any goalkeeper in football can have, to try to save a penalty by dead shot. Peter Lorimer, the man that could kill Wimbledon after a brave fight. Here he goes. He saved it. Dick Guy can have the freedom of Wimbledon this weekend. They could make him a freeman of the borough.
The scourge of Lorimer and Leeds that day, almost 10 years ago, Dickie Guy is now leading a somewhat quieter life in Bromley in Kent as a building and decorating contractor. He says he prefers putting up breeze blocks to blocking shots these days, though he did play the game until last season. But Dickie does still have a host of memories about that marvellous day at Elland Road.
The last 5 minutes, it was the Rovers stuff really. It was holding them to 0-0, and then to get a penalty against us in the last 5 minutes was disheartening, but luckily enough, it all worked out right.
The Wimbledon flag over the south stand was still at half-mast today. The safety visit from the GLC was a further reminder of the Bradford tragedy. With only a small crowd expected for tonight's game at Plough Lane, the closure ruling isn't a problem. But they say they still find it odd that the stand, deemed safe for 50 years, suddenly becomes unsafe overnight. The question remains how to pay for the safety improvements. Wimbledon say the way the system works now could well put many small clubs out of business.
The Pools Promoters Association, through the Spot the Ball, they do in fact give 75% back in grants. But what they don't tell people is that the clubs have to spend the whole 100% of the actual repair bills first, get receipts, submit claims, and it's only sometime after the actual expenditure has occurred that they do then get 75% back. So in other words, for a club that's designated to spend £150,000, they have the whole lot to find and spend first before they get anything back. Perhaps in view of the enormous bills that are now going to be forthcoming as a result of these acts, that perhaps they should look at that and change it and give some of the money first up front so that clubs can in fact afford to do their amendments and alterations.
Again here, Brazier made the challenge. Referee was very well placed to ensure that was not a foul. This is Hodges, and Alan Cork was in there. That's a splendid goal by him. His 31st of the season, and beautifully taken. Thomas to Downs. That's his cross. It's awkward. Oh, it's gone in. Well, would you believe it? Wally Downs. Round for the first time. But to do so, they have to extend a remarkable record of which only their fans packed into Plough Lane may be aware. Because the Dons have scored in all their last 45 home matches. They haven't drawn a blank here since April '83. And as former amateur cup winners who joined the Football League less than 8 years ago, Wimbledon have come further in that short space of time than any other club. Their team is unchanged from Saturday when their hero was goalkeeper Dave Besant. He's one of 8 survivors from the side which beat Forest here last season when the goals came from number 4 Steve Galliers and number 11 Glyn Hodges. 8 of the 12 Forest players on duty also figured in that Milk Cup tie, including number 9 Gary Birtles, who played his first senior match for 9 months on Saturday after his back injury. As for Brian Clough, his FA Cup record is nothing short of a jinx. In 30 years as a player and a manager, he's never even got as far as the semi-final in this competition. Referee Neil Midgley of Salford to start this replay. Wimbledon normally bustling and buoyant at home, they're in the white shirts, and Forest, as we know, can be cunning campaigners when they're playing away. That was Cork, and now Evans trying to play it on for Fishenden, and Hodges in the centre, and a corner. This is where Wimbledon will be hoping for the early strike. Hodges has gone across to the far side to take it. And Seggers looked confident. He's getting plenty of assistance from this swirling breeze. That was Swain. And now Davenport. It's Fishenden, who only managed to strike Galliers with the pass intended to go further forward. Who won away in the last round in a replay at Newcastle after extra time, so they've been over the course in that sense before already in this season's competition. Hodge, Birtles, Davenport, Hodge again. It was nicely played by Forrest. This is Hodge. And the swift movement which befits a First Division team came there from three Forest forwards. Ian Bowyer grappling there with Galliers. Sanchez now for Wimbledon, looking for Hodges, but McInally with the header. Now Wigley. Court wanting it put in towards the near post, that's where it's gone. Winterburn. Evans trying to turn, he did! And it's a goal! Fishenden finished that off to make absolutely sure, but Evans was the player that had the shot. Winterburn put it in, Evans turned, it went right across the face of the goal, and Fishenden and the left-back Swain seemed to actually play it in between them. 12 minutes gone, and Wimbledon, the second division side, have taken the lead. Find themselves coming from behind on this tight little ground. Brian Clough's team really up against it here. Free kick to Forest to be taken by Hodge. And that's awkward, and my word, a good effort by Paul Hart to snatch the equaliser right away. Paul Hart thundering forward, and he wasn't particularly well covered by Evans. This is Winterburn. Wimbledon playing with understandable confidence, and there's Sanchez with a chance to make it too, and Seggers saves well. Good swift attacking in the Wimbledon tradition, and Forest know now they're in a match. Wigley. right across. Hodges over on the far side. Here's Hodge. Trying to go round the outside of Gage, and Forrest get a free kick. Bowyer, the Forest captain, receiving attention. They wouldn't want to lose him at this critical stage in the evening. Hodge with the kick, and Fairclough getting up and forcing only a goal kick. So on comes Colin Walsh, and what a blow for Forest to lose Bowyer so early in the match. The cup scene has moved now to southwest London after all the drama at York on Saturday. Winterburn needs to go right really for Wimbledon, because they had players to spare on the other side, and instead in stoppage time at the end of the first half they have conceded a free kick. Nethod was bundled over by Hodges, and he's looking for Davenport. But they're watching Davenport so closely. He's got two to beat. Got the cross in. Birtles! Forest's best chance, made out of nothing, really. First by Davenport, and then as he turned against Morris there, Birtles also turned well, but the shot could have been better. Birtles, oh, well played. This is Wigley. Now, Forest have got some players forward here. And Wigley went all the way to the line. Oh, hit the post and was bundled out and driven back. And Nethod couldn't make it. And the really unlucky player was Kenny Swain with that terrific drive. Either Besant or the defender got in the way. Half-time comes with Forest within a whisker of equalising, because right on the whistle, Wigley here got almost to the dead ball line, and watch for Hodge coming in between the two defenders. He hits the post. They're so lucky there, Wimbledon. So at half-time, they managed to hang on to their lead. The absence of Ian Bowyer means that Steve Hodge has had to adjust his role to accommodate Walsh. And Forest, without their captain, who's so important to them in terms of spirit, and in fact turned their last replay at Newcastle, they've got an even harder task now. Came off Fairclough's head. Vishenden! Good effort and not far away from his second. Well, this lad Vishenden, who's only 21, scored twice in the last round against Burnley. Gage. Hodges. Paul Hart won it well. Forest looking for something from Wigley here now as the orthodox winger. Pulled it back for Hodge. Davenport! Oh, it just needed a touch from Peter Davenport. Excellent wing play here by Wigley. The cutback actually was for Hodge, but when his effort went in there, Davenport could have turned it into goal, and perhaps should have done. It's Cork. This cup match, this replay so appetising, is that at the moment forwards at both ends are getting the better of defenders. Walsh, well, that's a lovely looking ball to Davenport, and he's in. Here is Davenport, and he can't do it either. How many more chances does Brian Clough's team need without scoring? Walsh put the ball through, but the manager must feel now that not only should they be level, they should be in front. Davenport is the top goal scorer, and although Besant made a very good attempt to stop him, you would expect Davenport to do better. bouncing a bit, and Evans, oh, and Sega's just doing enough. Goodness me, the long kicks, part of the Wimbledon ploy, as their fans know, with the wind, as we suspected in this second half, are giving Forest nightmares. Besant is so good at getting distance, and the opposite goalkeeper was scared into making a last-ditch save. Gage with the corner. And Evans is up. Fairclough nearly an own goal. And a shot by Sanchez. And Forest break with Gary Birtles. Well run back by Gallius. Little touch inside from Hodges to Sanchez. And he didn't need to shoot there. He had Evans in a wonderful position to his left. But just a moment ago, Fairclough nearly put Wimbledon 2 up inadvertently. It was his back header from the corner by Gage, and he was glad that Steve Hodge was on the line. Walsh's ball is aimed at Hodge. And he knows, Mick Smith, just how close his team are. Neil Midgley has checked his watch. Fairclough to Hodge, and Davenport, this could be their last chance. Davenport goes down, referee says no foul, corner. Forest have got to throw everybody forward and hope there's just enough time to take this corner. Swain had the header, but it's safe for Wimbledon. There's going to be a right old knees up here any moment now. And Wimbledon go into the record books. They're in the 5th round for the first time in their history, and the FA Cup jinx strikes again on Brian Clough. He still can't beat Dave Bassett, and Paul Fishenden's goal puts Bassett's team through in this replay. Record receipts tonight here at Plough Lane of over £27,000. A crowd of over 10,000 have seen a side who weren't even in the Football League 8 years ago defeat a team who quite recently won the European Cup twice. Wimbledon go through, Nottingham Forest go out, and the memorable scenes shift now from York to this corner of southwest London as another giant falls. Wimbledon now at home in the 5th round to West Ham or Norwich City.
Extraordinary. Dave Bassett marches on, and as John said, that's club history for Wimbledon.
Oh. Wimbledon held West Ham at Plough Lane tonight, 1-1.
Wimbledon's cup hopes rested on just one tactic: get the ball in as high and as often as possible and hope for the best. But as the game settled down from the usual cup tie frenzy, West Ham began to skate over the mud. First, Goddard's cross found Devonshire, who almost side-footed the ball and the keeper into the net. Then the miss of the month, if not the scramble of the season. First off the bar, then off a remarkably athletic Besant to relative safety. By the second half, West Ham appeared in total control, a view which was confirmed when they split Wimbledon's shaky back four, Cotty latching onto the lucky rebound. But if Wimbledon were flawed, they certainly weren't out for the count. On one of their few coherent raids, Cork found the space, but hit the crowd. Then with minutes left, Wimbledon resorted to the big boot tactic. Downs booted and Stuart Evans glanced in the equaliser. Wimbledon had survived at least as far as Wednesday's replay. Peter Staunton, ITN Sport.